Today. We're going to talk about illusion and only illusion. It's a very complicated term. In the simplest way, it just means a reference to a well-known work. And you can see when we talk about well-known works in larger literature, we specifically in the West probably are referring to something biblical or something out of Greek mythology or something out of a major work. However, we don't have to be just stuck in that huge canon kind of mindset. We can think about illusions in a bunch of different ways. So, the tricky part about illusion, this is the really tricky part, is because it is a reference, I might not know what it is a reference to. So, for instance, the poem I'm going to give you today references Diddy. I know who Diddy is. My hope is that he's not so old that you guys don't know who P. Diddy is. And that's a major reference in this piece. She's referencing not only this artist, but also a very specific performance that he did in a very famous play that is also named after a poem. So this particular exercise is going to be layered. You're going to be looking for a lot of references. And what are they references to? You're probably going to be able to catch that it is a reference, whether you know the reference or not. And we'll have an interesting conversation at the end of Illusion because it is very difficult to get to. To give you kind of a simplified version, we used to teach this poem that referenced Snow White. And again, the reference doesn't work as well anymore because fewer and fewer students have seen Snow White. It used to be kind of a universal experience. They would replay Snow White in movie theaters. I saw it when I was a kid, maybe the age of like 6 or 7. Even though the first time they played Snow White, it was in the 30s. And so there are kind of these universal experiences that people have when they're growing up. And as we get into more divergent culture and more ways to stream and more ways to do things, it's going to be harder and harder to understand these kind of basic references. And so you guys are definitely going to understand references I don't. I'm going to definitely understand references you don't. But if I can tell that it's a reference, then I can go and look it up and I can determine, oh, what's it doing inside of this poem? What's the poet's purpose in adding this thing, right? And that's ultimately the goal.